Window World is proud to present Kevin Keatsman Has Issues. Simply the best for less at windowskansascity.com.
It's possible the reaction and the fallout from Tuesday's debacle election, locally and nationwide, it's possible that reaction is even worse and a worse sign for Republicans than the actual outcome of some elections that really didn't matter much across the United States. They did matter. They did. And again, we spent a lot of time talking about local races, local issues and different things. It's not that they don't matter, but I don't think anybody would look at an off-year election in 2023 and say, okay, that changed the country. Okay, this fundamentally changes what America is. And I think many Americans are concerned on both sides that the way we are divided politically now, we're on the cusp of something dramatic with our country taking a turn for the worse and forever being unchangeable. I certainly feel that. I feel that about what the socialists are doing on the left and the things that I'm seeing that I've never seen in my life. But the reaction after this loss has been absolutely remarkable. That so many smart people that went to really big schools, they make a lot of money. They write for giant media corporations, newspapers, they're on television. They've got millions of followers or something in social media, and they're all repeating the same stupid stuff, and they couldn't be more wrong. When you hear somebody say, if we just message this differently, we can win. If we just find politicians where the messaging is better. If we talk about, when it pertains to abortion, child support from the dad beginning in conception instead of when the baby is born. When we talk about adoption or education or birth control or things of these nature, we can lower the number of abortions. We can make real inroads. We need to educate young women and teach them that there are, better ways. We need to talk to men about taking responsibility and using condoms. And you can just spit and talk till you're blue in the face and you are going nowhere. You do not understand human nature. You do not understand young people. You have forgotten what it's like. I'm going to say something that may be offensive. You've forgotten what it's like to be young and horny and crazy and ready to try anything at any time, any moment. And that's what goes on in civilization. It happens all throughout the world. If you live in Palestine, you go steal a 10-year-old girl from a family and take her as your own when you're 49 years old, and you say, I'm ready for a new wife. Insane things happen with human beings. And when it comes to repopulating, getting pregnant, it's pretty hard to stop stupid behavior. So talk till you're blue in the face, talk about abstinence, talk about birth control, talk about adoption, talk about messaging, and lose every single election. It was absolutely astonishing to me to hear some of these really smart people say and think that if the politicians just reframe it, if you say it like Nikki Haley said it in the debate, that'll change things. It's not going to change. Polling in the United States is very consistent. It is 61% of Americans that are for some form of abortion. 37% are against. That is a landslide. That is decided moral code. We live in a democracy. Okay? You can go to your church. You can hold hands and pray with others. And you can pray to God and to Jesus until you're blue in the face that horrible things are happening in the world and people are dying. And we all feel those things. But it doesn't look like human beings are capable of living peacefully, living morally, and understanding that hurting, harming, and killing others is something that we should just eradicate because we can't do it. And we've never done it throughout the history of humans. And we're seeing wars right now that are being fought over what? Religion, land. There's awful things taking place in Ukraine, in Israel, in Gaza, around the world. There are people that are starving. There are dictatorships. There's human trafficking. There's rape. There's murder. It's awful. We're terrible. Humans are awful. But I'm not going to drag you down with that today. I'm just not going to do it. I came to some sort of a realization and some peace on Wednesday when I read that 92% of all abortions in the United States happen in the first 10 weeks. We're sitting here worrying about an issue that lives in the fringes. We're absolutely in the fringes. The pro-life people here are wrong. They continue to say, if we do this, if we teach this, it's all going to come our way. And we have to stop it all. It's over. You can choose to be an American or you can not choose to be an American. If we're going to have a democracy, this is decided policy in America. They're coming after Missouri. The same people in Ohio now say they're coming after Missouri. Missouri was one of the first to pass a law. Missouri politicians are going to get clobbered next year if they are going to run on zero abortions. They're going to get clobbered. They're going to get steamrolled at every turn. We're going to lose congressional seats. It's going to happen everywhere. These Swifties are coming for you. They are not letting go, and this is going to happen. What is amazing to me, I seriously, I think I'm the only person in America that sees it this way. And although I got some emails from some of you that you see it the same way. The left is claiming victory in Ohio on the amendment. And I guess they should. They got a constitutional amendment. But it's the people on the right that are astounding to me. They're looking at this going, oh, God, we lost. This is horrible. And these people on the left, these fringe people on the left want to have babies up until the time of birth. And yes, that's happened. And there are going to be really sad, tragic stories out there. There's going to be some of them. And the right is just as complicit in this as the left, because our wackos on the right that won't let go, that say zero abortions, we can never have any, we got to get this down to zero, it's God's work, and if we don't do this, I'm telling you, it isn't going to happen. And you're painting the left largely as something they're not. You're mostly painting the 61% as something they're not. Is there 5%, 10% of wackos on the left that want abortion right up until time of birth? Yes. But when I learned that 92% of all abortions in this country are in the first 10 weeks, we're sitting here in Virginia trying to take it from 24 weeks down to 15 weeks when 92% of all abortions are in the first 10 weeks. Many of them now are done with an abortion pill. We're actually gaining in this regard. We're gaining. In strange ways, we are gaining, and pro-lifers get this wrong, and they go out there and they say inflammatory things that get me riled up and you riled up and everybody riled up of things that really aren't very big in number. They're very small percentages. And while the left is claiming victory and the people on the right are saying they won't stop until they have unfettered abortion until zero, and maybe that's the case in California, New York, but you know what? It ain't the case in Ohio, and they're celebrating over Ohio. And did you know the amendment in Ohio does not allow you to abort a baby that is viable? Nobody's talking about this. Everybody's dug in on both sides. This is the craziest argument of my lifetime. You are never changing anybody's mind on abortion. It is not going to happen. It's never been that way. You're never going to change people's minds on whether they think it's right or wrong. But as new generations come along and they're educated and populated by the majority, it's a loser for pro-lifers. It's an absolute loser. But did you win or did you lose in Ohio? I don't know. I don't know who won and who lost in Ohio. I'm sitting here thinking, wow, Ohio's got a constitutional amendment that says if a baby is viable and can live outside the womb, you can't take its life. That seems like a win to me. And that the right is running around screaming that the left in Ohio wants babies aborted right up until the time of birth. It's against the law. It's against the law. There's a constitutional amendment. It's against the law. So we're moving on from that. Even though we saw it on full display in a debate on Wednesday night. The debates are bores. They're awful. Trump's not there. None of these people are going to be running. It looks like there might be a couple of them auditioning for vice president. Right now, who are the two leading candidates for vice president, or three? Maybe Kristi Noem, some woman somewhere. Kristi Noem in South Dakota. Tucker Carlson is now being mentioned by Donald Trump as a possible running mate. And Vivek Ramaswamy clearly is auditioning to run for vice president with Trump. And he stole the debate. And there were 5 people on that stage, and 4 of them looked to me like they don't belong. They don't have the fight. DeSantis, I think, would be a very good president. He's just not a great candidate. Tim Scott's too nice. Nikki Haley's a warmongering neocon. Chris Christie's a Democrat. So the field's being winnowed down, and that's a good thing. But if you couldn't stomach it like I couldn't stomach it, I was flipping back and forth between that and the Country Music Awards. If you couldn't stomach the whole thing like I couldn't, this is why debates no longer really matter unless you create a viral moment. Nobody's watching the full 2 hours. Nobody cares. Trump's not there. But if you can go viral, you can gain traction. And Vivek Ramaswamy did that. He was the only person on the stage willing to say the stuff that I think, you think, that I can say out loud. Maybe you can say out loud. But the rest of the people on the stage didn't want to say it out loud. They just didn't want to. And it started with a bang. And it never stopped. Ramaswamy all night long had one zinger after another of things that America needs to hear, not just Republican primary voters. It's one thing to have your primary voters like you and have you hear this. It's another for it to go completely viral on X and Facebook and TikTok and everywhere, because everybody in America is talking about Vivek Ramaswamy today and how he unloaded not only on the people on that stage, but the entire Republican Party, Ronna McDaniel, who's the chairman of the Republican National Committee, Lester Holt, and Kristen, whatever her name is, the debate moderators that were sitting right there. Vivek Ramaswamy, with his opening comments, just got out a flamethrower.
Ramaswamy, let me turn to you. Please make your case. Why should you be the nominee and not the former president?
I think there's something deeper going on in the Republican Party here, and I am upset about what happened last night. We've become a party of losers at the end of the day. It was a cancer in the Republican establishment. Let's speak the truth. I mean, since Ronna McDaniel took over as chairwoman of the RNC in 2017, we have lost 2018, 2020, 2022, no red wave that never came. We got trounced last night in 2023. And I think that we have to have accountability in our party. For that matter, Ron, if you want to come on stage tonight, you want to look the GOP voters in the eye and tell them you resign, I will yield my time to you. And frankly, look, the people there cheering for losing in the Republican Party. Think about who's moderating this debate. This should be Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk. We'd have 10 times the viewership, asking questions that GOP primary voters actually care about and bringing more people into our party. You think the Democrats, and we've got Kristen Welker here, you think the Democrats would actually hire Greg Gutfeld to host a Democratic debate? They wouldn't do it. And so the fact of the matter is, I mean, Kristen, I'm going to use this time because this is actually about you in the media and the corrupt media establishment. Ask you, the Trump-Russia collusion hoax that you pushed on this network for years, was that real or was that Hillary Clinton made up disinformation? Answer the question. Go.
Mr. Roberts.
Sorry. This is how we get our country back. We need accountability because this media rigged the 2016 election. They rigged the 2020 election with the Hunter Biden laptop story.
Mr. Ramaswamy,
and they're going to rig this election.
Your time is up.
Accountability.
Let me turn to
That's
Governor Christie. Why you?
Oh, no, it's not enough to point out Ronna McDaniel's not doing a very good job. Come on up here on the stage and resign in front of everybody. You can have my time to tell all the Republicans that you're resigning. Come on up here and resign. I mean, this was amazing. This was Trump-esque. Now, he doesn't have the same humor to him, light touch. There's some innate quality about Trump that people see and gravitate towards that Vivek Ramaswamy doesn't have, but the guy's clearly a badass. He's not afraid to say anything to anyone. The single most famous line from the debate clearly had to be when Ramaswamy was on stage talking about Nikki Haley being in 3-inch heels and an off-the-cuff remark saying there's two of them, which refers to Ron DeSantis, who some people think put heels in his boots so it looks like he's taller. This is just too good to be true.
Corrupt politicians in both parties spent trillions, killed millions, made billions for themselves in places like Iraq and Afghanistan, fighting wars that sent thousands of our sons and daughters, people my age, to die in wars that did not advance anyone's interests, adding $7 trillion to our national debt. And Joe Biden sold off our foreign policy. Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, got a $5 million bribe from Ukraine. That's why we're sending $200 billion back to that same country. The fact of the matter is the Republican Party is not that much better. You have the likes of Nikki Haley, who stepped down from her time at the UN. Bankrupt or in debt was her family. Then she becomes a military contractor. She joins the board of Boeing and otherwise, and is now a multimillionaire. So I think that that's wrong when Republicans do it or Democrats do it. That's the choice we face. Do you want a leader from a different generation who's going to put this country first? Or do you want Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels?
All right, Mr.
In which case we've got two of them on stage tonight.
But Vivek was just getting started. He didn't just have the zingers and the attacks on people and the punchlines all ready to go. He's substantive. He had policy. And when talking about Ukraine and these endless wars, he said something on NBC that's never been said on NBC before. He told the truth about the war in Ukraine, what's actually going on there, and it made the moderators and NBC, and I'm guessing, you remember the executive got fired at CNN for having the Trump town hall because they were so uncomfortable with what Trump was saying? Ramaswamy did that on NBC last night. He said things that have never aired on that network before. And if you were not a GOP voter or not too into it, you learned things from Vivek last night, especially about what's going on in Ukraine.
Ukraine is not a paragon of democracy. This is a country that has banned 11 opposition parties. It has consolidated all media into one state TV media arm. That's not democratic. It has threatened not to hold elections this year unless the U.S. forks over more money. That is not democratic. It has celebrated a Nazi in its ranks, the comedian in cargo pants, a man called Zelensky, doing it in their own ranks. That is not democratic. More facts for you that you won't hear from the mainstream in either party or the mainstream media. The regions of Ukraine that are occupied by Russia right now in the Donbass, Luhansk, Donetsk. These are Russian-speaking regions that have not even been part of Ukraine since 2014, that other people probably couldn't name those provinces for you. Those are the hard facts. And so to frame this as some kind of battle between good versus evil, don't buy it. And I'd like the likes of the sharpest of the war hawks on Ukraine, Nikki Haley, to have some accountability and answer. Do you want to use U.S. taxpayer money to fund the banning of Christians? That is actually what's happening. They're using the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. They have banned them. The Ukrainian parliament just did this last week, supported by our dollars. And I think you owe it to the American people, Nikki, to at least this one time at least condemn.
Thank you. That's time.
At least to condemn their banning of Christians.
Look, this is a smart guy. He clearly knows the policy. He clearly knows right from wrong, good from bad, conservatism versus socialism. He knows all these things. Does he have flaws? Of course he has flaws. Is he ready to be president? I don't know that. He's the youngest candidate by far. I don't know. I'm not sitting here. But listen, if you told me a year from now Vivek Ramaswamy won the election and was our president, I'd be thrilled. Because I'd have a man that's smart. I'd have a man that's a fighter. And I'd have a man that wants to rejuvenate and revive America by its great American constitutional principles. That's what he wants. And he had a brilliant game plan in the debate. He was going to bookend the debate with a classic line at the start of the debate, which he did. You heard that. And he was going to close this thing out in a way that no other candidate on that stage was going to close it out. And he did it by going after Joe Biden and the Democrats and telling the truth again, something on NBC that's never been said on NBC or that liberals have never heard, has gone completely viral. Tens of millions of people are going to hear this cut about the truth of the Democrat Party.
I also want to close with one message to the Democrat Party. End this farce that Joe Biden is going to be your nominee. We know he's not even the president of the United States. He's a puppet for the managerial class. So have the guts to step up and be honest about who you're actually going to put up so we can have an honest debate. Biden should step aside, end his candidacy now so we can see whether it's Newsom or Michelle Obama or whoever else.
All right,
just
Mr.
tell us the
Ramaswamy,
truth so we can have an honest
time is
debate.
up. Ambassador.
And he actually says Democrat Party right, and he gets it right, and they cut him off, and you could hear the frustration in Lester Holt all night long when Vivek started going hard after the Democrats, when he started going hard after the neocons in the Republican Party, when he went hard after Ronna McDaniel, the GOP chair. This was just phenomenal. It was great. It needed to be done. This is part of the cleansing of our party, and I'm very excited about it. And I'm not really very excited about 24. I'm not. After what I've seen now with this abortion stuff, I have such low expectations and hopes for 24. I figure next year, when the Democrats trot a different candidate out other than Joe Biden, they're going to win it all. They're going to have the White House, the Senate, and Congress, and it's going to be a nightmare for a while for us until we figure out the Republican Party. When I see somebody young like Vivek Ramaswamy, and I see somebody older like Donald Trump, and we know that the majority of Republican voters just adore what these two are saying, we can bring the rest of the party around. We have to cleanse ourselves of these rhinos. And maybe the last fitting act of falling on the sword for the rhinos would be them to actually do conservatives a favor. And that is fall on the abortion sword. Why can't the rhinos line up? You need 60% to pass a law. Why can't enough rhinos line up in the Senate? There's enough of them there. Why can't they line up in the Senate with the Democrats and pass a law, nationalize abortion, get it off the books, and get it done? No, the conservatives all vote against it, but there's enough rhinos in there to vote for it, to say, here it is, here's our law, viability is our law. We're going to do just like Ohio wrote it. We're going to make it a law. Do it, get it done, then we're cleansing our party of you people. You'd actually be doing us a favor. Get that off the books, and the rest of the country, once abortion is gone, agrees overwhelming with conservatives and our constitutional rights. Overwhelmingly. A tremendous performance by Vivek Ramaswamy, who also, by the way, while Nikki Haley was talking a couple of different times, turned to Tim Scott to his left and kind of poked him and whispered in his ear like this, and then they both started laughing. They were literally standing on the stage mocking Nikki Haley. She's talking about building more battleships for the military and stuff, and they're just laughing and mocking her. I really don't like Nikki Haley. Now, Chris Christie, I don't even have the energy to bring up anything about Chris Christie because he doesn't belong there. He's a Democrat. And somehow we're allowing him to be on the stage to just bash Donald Trump, which is insane. But that's what's going on. And it was a wild night, no doubt. All right, KKHI is brought to you by Back Nine Development, your custom home builder in Kansas City, Lawrence, Topeka, Manhattan. TJ Vilkanskas would love to work with your family or your business in building a custom home or a commercial building for you and your company. Man, they just do great work. If you want to see the high-end, high-quality custom build jobs that Back Nine Development executes, check it all out online at back9development.com. Or better yet, just call TJ and say, you know what, I'd like to meet you. I've heard Kevin talk about you and the really cool homes you've built. Can we discuss with you the possibility of doing something with us and just see if your goals match up? 785-236-0161. That's 785-236-0161. TJ Vilkanskas and his team at back9development.com. bstock.net would love to see you come on out and get one of these 85-inch TVs. They're so excited to see you. They're half price. The Samsung QLED Smart TVs half price, overstock sale while they last at bstock.net. If you come out there and buy one, they'll even cut you in on cheap delivery as well, depending on the distance and timing and all those different things. But they'll deliver it for a very, very low price. That is remarkable. These things are half price, baby, just $899, regularly $1,800. Everyone else, not at bstock.net, half price. They've also got a doorbuster right now, an LG 50-inch NanoCell LED LCD Smart TV 4K, $299. That is in-store only. bstock.net, $299 for a 50-inch LG Smart TV. That is awesome stuff. Oh, we went and spent some time with our buddy Spencer Marquardt yesterday out at the Finch Knife Company in Stanley. What a great guy. They've got a really cool shop out there where they design all these knives. They've got I'm not supposed to say anything about it yet. I think it's my favorite Finch pocket knife yet. I saw he has 30 of them they've made, and they're sort of I don't want to give this away yet. They're sort of an homage to Christmas, but they're not, you're thinking the wrong way. Okay. There's a Christmas movie that's a little bit scary and there's kind of a creepy character in it. And this cool knife, these things are kind of burgundy in color. They're just gorgeous. And it has laser engraving of this caricature on the blade. It's so cool. There's only going to be 30, so they're going to be collector's editions. And I saw them. I can't promote them yet. Although if you went and saw them in person, maybe you'd see them for yourself. But I'm not even supposed to say that. FinchKnifeCo.com. FinchKnifeCo.com. Also visit Shields, the Bullet Hole, or Teague Tractor and see them right here in Kansas City. But the best way to see every Finch pocket knife to keep your life from getting dull is log on to FinchKnifeCo.com. These babies are awesome. Did you know you can buy a series of these, a group of these, a bunch of these, and give them as gifts to your clients or holiday gifts to a group of people? Or I talked to Spencer about this, and he didn't get it done, and he should not Spencer Marquardt, my son Spencer. I said, did you think about getting Finch pocket knives for all your groomsmen and stuff? You can laser etch on the blade your company logo or things of this nature on these awesome pocket knives. It's really, really cool. They're really cool. You should consider that for your client gifts this year for the holidays. FinchKnifeCo.com. In Nashville, 7 cops have been put on administrative reassignment. This is non-punitive. They still have full police duties. They have been, I guess, taken off the street and put behind a desk. That's what it sounds like to me. 7 of them. While an investigation takes place amongst the 7 and others to find out exactly who and how the Covenant School transgender, white-hating, racist shooter went in and killed all those kids and people. Because that person left behind a manifesto that the deep state doesn't want you to see. And yes, the Nashville Police Department becomes part of the police state and the deep state. Because there's a Democrat mayor in Nashville. Nashville's a very conservative place, but we're talking about the Nashville police. This would be different than Lee Summit Police versus Kansas City, Missouri Police. Something happens with the Kansas City, Missouri Police, and the Biden administration doesn't want it out. The Kansas City, Missouri Police will have it suppressed because Mayor Quentin Lucas will see to it. This is how it works, and it happened that way in Nashville. And these people in Nashville are like, this is BS. This thing in this manifesto, people need to know what this crazy transgender chick, white-hating racist was all about. So it gets leaked to the media. You've probably seen it and read it. It's despicable. It's awful. And so now they're investigating who did that, and they want to punish whichever Nashville cops did that. They're not saying any of these 7 did it. They don't know yet. They're investigating. They don't know how the leak occurred, but Nashville police are trying to find out. And while they've done that, they've reassigned 7 cops. 7 cops on administrative reassignment. It's amazing. The lengths, we think of the federal government and how bad the federal government is and, the things that they're hiding at the highest levels. They've got so much power, it leaks all the way down to the Nashville Police Department, keeping a manifesto locked up and out of the public eye so it helps Democrats win elections. Because this information that got out is bad for Democrats. It's really bad for Democrats. It's white racism, first of all. It's transgender gone wild, mental health problems with a tranny. I mean, there's so many things here that you can carve up. They don't want you to know. And so they just flat keep it from everybody. Because of course they do. It's what the Democrats do. The least transparent people in American history, today's modern Democrat Party. Here's another story they don't want you to see. Have you tried Beyond Meat? Have you had the soy burger or the veggie burger or any of these things? We used to joke that when we were kids, the burgers they served at our high school, they told us there was no meat in those. We called those soy burgers. And I don't know if that was the first Beyond Meat or whatever. They weren't very good. They didn't taste a lot like hamburgers, but we were hungry teenagers, and they slapped some cheese on it, throw enough ketchup and some pickles on there, and you can eat it. I don't know what those patties were made of. So these sorts of things have been around for a long time, I feel. But now we have this company called Beyond Meat, and everybody went and bought stock in it. And they thought, well, this is the way. A green new planet. We're going to take plants. We're going to turn them into cheeseburgers, and it's going to be great. We're going to have hot dogs, everything Americans like. We're going to make out of plants instead out of animals, and it's going to be great. And it made a big burst on the scene, probably, 5-7 years ago was really the beginning of it. And people are like, oh, now you go to most restaurants and they'll say they'll have a Beyond Burger or something, and they offer it in case a vegan comes in and wants to look like they're not a vegan and grab something and eat it and make it look like they're a normal person. But no, nobody's buying this stuff. This is like the electric cars. And a couple of electric cars companies are doing pretty well. I think we've seen that. Tesla's doing well. There's a couple of others doing well. Everybody else is jumping on board. Ford's hemorrhaging cash, losing money right and left. GM is cutting back production of its number of its electric vehicles. There is not an appetite from the consumer for these things, even with tax incentives, even with everything going on. Consumers, there's a finite number of people that want these things. And I'm not saying nobody wants a Beyond Burger. And I'm not saying nobody wants an electric Ford truck. Some people do. Most people don't. And the strategy of a business is to get the most people to be your customers. Beyond Meat is really struggling. Beyond Meat's CEO said on Wednesday that they have, quote, hit consumer headwinds, unquote, that are very difficult. Now, when you say consumer headwinds, he's trying to make it sound like, well, the economy's bad and this is going. No. Consumer headwinds is these meats have been around for a while and their sales just keep dropping. An 8.7% decrease in sales revenue, despite the fact that they were charging more this year. So the actual consumption is down more than 8.7%. It's probably more like 12 or 14% less consumption of Beyond Meat products. And they had a net loss, company loss of 9.6%. So they're losing money. He's hoping for a better day. It is not clear whether Beyond Meat will be able to stay in business or what I will predict is some sort of a federal bailout. You watch. When they see these Beyond Meat companies, Beyond Meat is the actual brand name of one of them, but there's a lot of these companies out there. When they see them all losing money and people not buying these things, the Democrats are going to run to their aid and give them some sort of incentives, tax breaks, credits, cash, stimulus, something. Keep your eye on the fake meat industry and see what they get. While our farmers and ranchers are out there busting their asses trying to make a living with inflated fuel prices for all of their machinery, costs through the roof, and difficulties keeping labor. They'll bail out Beyond Meat. Mark my word. On to sports we go. It is brought to you by Roberts Robinson Chevrolet GMC in Excelsior Springs. I texted Mike Robinson yesterday. I'm getting ready to go up there. I'm getting in the next month or so. He's going to give me a date. We're going to go to lunch in Excelsior, and I'm going to get 4 new tires on my Chevy Blazer. In the past, they've offered a $100 rebate on 4 new tires. Roberts Robinson's also the home of lifetime warranty. Shop online, deliver at home, build your own. 0.9% available on many Chevrolet and GMC models. Check it all out. They also offer accessory cash allowance on Chevy trucks, military bonuses, and all kinds of great financing options right now at Roberts Robinson Chevrolet GMC in Excelsior Springs. Call my buddy Tim. He's on the showroom floor every day. If you're looking for a specific Chevy or GMC model, color, product, maybe a Denali version or an AT4X or a ZR2, whatever it is, call him and ask about it. They'll either locate it or have it built for you. RobertsRobinson.com, 816-826-1563. Tim and Brittany over at CrossKitchensKC.com. Tim Cross and his family have a wonderful business and all kinds of skilled crafts workers that have been with them for a long time that they want to keep busy all winter. So they're continuing this week. If you make the phone call, if you initiate contact, you could be eligible for free countertops from Cross Kitchens KC. If you want to do a remodel of your kitchen, your bath, your man cave, or any room in your house, if there are countertops involved in this, free countertops. CrossKitchensKC.com. Just call Tim at 816-898-7047. Hurry. This offer is about to expire. 816-898-7047. CrossKitchensKC.com. And Advantage Termite and Pest Control now offers lawn service as well. Have one company do all your services around your house. That's right. Advantage Termite, Advantage Pest Control, critter riddance, lawn maintenance, sprinkler blowout, everything. All one company. You can set it all up on AutoPay and just have one invoice. Simplify your life with a great service company at your house. If you've been with Advantage Termite and Pest Control and you don't see any bugs and you think they're good at that, wait till you see their lawn care. They'll do that for you. I'm going to be signing up and doing it for the first time in 24 because it's a relatively new thing with Advantage, and I've seen them and I know that they do it, and why wouldn't I switch? Because I'm going to do it. Advantage Termite and Pest Control. Call right now and ask them about your winterization program, which is your sprinkler blowout, winter fertilizer, and a lawn plan for 2024. 913-768-8989. Support this great conservative family-owned company. AdvantageTPC.com. Might as well just call it Advantage Services because they're going to be doing it all around the Keatsman households. And you know what? That's what you get. When you've done 20-some years for us, as great a work as you've done, we'll trust you with anything. You say you're in this industry. I trust Aaron and his family to just do great services for our home. I just do. It's like Ron Buck. Ron Buck, when he does Buck Roofing, now he does the Buck Disposal. I trust that he's going to be great at Buck Disposal. And I feel great talking about his new venture because I know what kind of a person he is and what kind of a businessman he is and how he treats his customers. It's up and down the board. All these folks are at the kklist.com. Folks, I'm telling you, these are the best businesses you can do business with. The kklist.com. Check them out. They are all right there. Travis and Jason Kelce have been named People Magazine's sexiest athletes alive. I think Travis won and Jason finished second. Okay. We've also got reporting from the New York Post. The New York Post is now where you go to get your Travis Kelce news because they do something called Page 6, and they follow celebrities everywhere and know everything that's going on. Travis Kelce is in Argentina for a Taylor Swift concert this bye week. The Chiefs are off, and so he has traveled to Argentina to see T-Swizzle as they're keeping up either their romance or their marketing or whatever it may be. It's on, and Travis Kelce is there. Mahomes went to the Met Ball, right? Is that where he went to the Met Ball? And then he was at a basketball game last night wearing some sort of a really white trash looking T-shirt jersey thing, which was awesome. I love it when he dressed. I'd rather see him like that than because I got to know him a little bit. His first year as starting quarterback, I interviewed him every week. So I spent a lot of time around Patrick Mahomes and I got to know him a little bit. And he just had enough country and a little, white tee in him like I do that we kind of had that together. And as I see him with all this fancy stuff he's got, I'm like, I really don't know that he's all that comfortable dressing up and going to the Met Ball, to be honest. I wouldn't be, but it isn't something I'd even do. If I were Patrick Mahomes, there's no way I'd be taking time away from my family during the bye week to go to the Met Ball. That would not be happening. Now, I might go to the NBA Finals or the Kentucky Derby or some sporting event, but the Met Ball, not me. Chiefs wide receiver Justin Ross has more trouble in Johnson County. Now the authorities there are saying they found a small scratch on his ex-girlfriend's hand from when he grabbed her and was dragging her around the apartment and smashed his computer and a couple of her things, I guess. They now say they have a small scratch on her hand, and they have changed this to a felony charge. Well, it sounds like something they'll just plea down, and this is a better way for them to get a conviction at something lower. I can't imagine this will be a felony. But Chiefs receiver Justin Ross continuing to get bad news in the legal system for freaking out against his ex-girlfriend where it doesn't sound like he really hurt her, and that's a low bar. All right, what he did was wrong in every way. But it doesn't seem like maybe, and they're not together anymore, it doesn't seem like to me he's a danger to society or anything like that. University of Missouri basketball, Dennis Gates just signed the number 2 class in the country. Now, if Kansas signed the number 2 class, I might not even mention it on the podcast because I'm not big into recruiting. I've seen way too many great recruits through the years stink, and I've seen so many great players become phenomenal, even in the pros, that were walk-ons. So it's just a bizarre thing to me. And now that we have unfettered free agency and players come and go, it matters less than ever what your recruiting class is. So that's my asterisk by all this. Like Missouri signed 5 players. If they're all as good as everybody says they are, 2 or 3 of them are going to transfer because they won't like the fact that they're not the man. So there's good and bad. Now, in recruiting, I believe he signed 5. He probably found 2 studs and 3 good players. That's probably what he got. But this is remarkable. You can't argue with it. 5 players in the top 100. Missouri's never done that before. Only 2 players this signing class, or 2 teams, Duke and Missouri, had 4 or more ranked in the top 100. Gates has scorers, defenders. He's got a 7-footer. He's got a team here. He's got 5 players that literally could be like the starting 5. I just think it's awesome for Mizzou basketball. Dennis Gates is, there's every sign that he's building something that will last. That's really cool. And they were good last year, and he's won games, and they should be better this year. He should be he's more integrated. The returning players are more integrated. You got a couple of great transfers came in. I'm high. I'm excited for Missouri basketball. I'm high on them. I enjoy watching them play. My God, they score. They went over 100 in their first game. They're fun to watch. They got a little bit of that Chiefs quality to them. The Chiefs, Missouri's not the best team yet. The Chiefs have been the best team, but they're also the most interesting to watch. We'll tie that together with our final. Stay tuned for the final, and I'll expand a little bit more on that with the Chiefs. But that's really cool stuff. Way to go, Mizzou. That is just awesome. Missouri-Georgia last week was the number 2 rated college football game in America. Over 7 million viewers. Missouri-Georgia was number 2 between Alabama and LSU. College football this year nationwide is up 15% in the ratings. This will be the highest rated college football season in the history of college football. There are more schools that are good. There are more fan bases that care. And there are more television networks to put these things on TV. The sheer number of people that watches college football is astonishing. Wait until the playoff expands next year. Do you know who's still in the playoff hunt? If there were 12 teams right now, do you know who's still in the playoff hunt? KU and MU for sure, and probably K-State. All still in the playoff hunt. Can you imagine next year this time? All 3 area teams in the playoff hunt with 3 games to go. Man, you want to see some TV ratings go up? They're going to go up even more. I've argued for years that college football, this deal where it was a beauty contest, we're picking 2 teams and calling it a title at the end of the year is a joke. It was always a joke. The 4-team playoff was a joke. 12 is good. I think I would have started with 8. 12's awesome. I think the SEC and the Big Ten are going to try to steal all the at-larges, so I think it's going to create problems. But whatever. You get to a point now, if you win your conference, you're in. That's going to be great. It is going to keep so many teams alive in November with a chance to make the playoffs, and we're going to have so many Cinderella stories. We're going to have somebody sitting here with 3 losses or 4 losses with 3 games to go that runs the table, wins their conference title game, and gets in. And it will be the most glorious month of football at that school you've ever seen, a place like Iowa State or something. It'll just be crazy. It's going to happen. And we're going to wind up with, this time next year, 25 schools, maybe 30, that see a path, that have a mathematical path. And then they go, okay, well, all we got to do is win this Saturday. You win Saturday, now your path got better, clearly, because other teams are going to lose. It's going to be great. And they're already getting record ratings this year. Crazy story from Sporting Kansas City, which is waiting for an opponent to play in the Western Conference semis. Peter Vermees met with the media on Wednesday and said Logan Denby of Sporting Kansas City played in their match on Sunday when they beat St. Louis and advanced in the playoffs for 44 minutes with a torn ACL. Vermees says, I've never heard of that. He said, I've seen a player play a few minutes and go, I just can't take it anymore, and come out, and we diagnose them with a torn ACL. So Denby's lost, obviously, for the year. He played 44 minutes of the Sporting Kansas City match Sunday with a torn ACL. I've never heard that either. We'll just report the news, and I'm not going to add any commentary here. All I know is I've never heard of that. And if that's true, I got to tip my cap to one tough son of a gun playing soccer. That's pretty cool. Deion Sanders was on a podcast and said, no chance I'm going to the NFL or the pros. I'm out. Count me out. And unlike most people, like Lance Leipold this week is answering questions at KU about interviewing with Michigan State, I did not hear him say he did not interview with Michigan State. What I heard him say is he's hoping Kansas is his last job, and he really likes it at Kansas. Michigan State's got an opening. Michigan could have an opening. Lance Leipold's going to be a hot commodity, very clearly. And he came out and was pretty emphatic that he loves it at Kansas and all those things. But he didn't say, I'm never leaving, and give a reason why. Deion came out and said, I'm never leaving, and here's why. He didn't say, I'm never leaving Colorado. He said, I'm never leaving for the pros, and here's why. He said, I'd go out and play a game with 53 players and only let 32 of them in the locker room at halftime. He said there's too many players in the NFL making millions and millions of dollars that just don't respect the game and play every play. He said, I can't do it. He said, I can't do it. I'd go out there with 53 guys and I'd have 32 left at halftime. He said, I can't coach the pro players. Not interested. So basically what he's saying is he couldn't have coached himself. Dion, you were the king of taking plays off. You did. You sort of invented it. You did. You were great. You were maybe the greatest of all time. I'm not taking away from you. There are plays, especially on defense, where you get, or wide receiver, where you get to take the play off. You ever watch the wide receivers on a running play? They man up to the cornerback. They both know it's a running play. They're both staying out of the play unless the running back makes it more than 3 yards or so. If the running back makes it more than 3 yards, then it's on. Then I'm really going to block you and you're really going to go try to tackle him. Did you ever watch that? There's all kinds of players taking the play off. I like that he said it. I actually kind of believe him. I just don't think he wants to deal with professional athletes. I think he likes having the hammer over his players. And that's why most college coaches like coaching in college. Question is, will that change? Will they lose the hammer now that these players make all the money and there's complete unfettered free agency? They can go wherever they want, whenever they want. Our final is brought to you by North Kansas City Dental, online at nkcdental.com. Dr. Bill Bush would love to see you as a new patient. 816-471-2911. They've got advanced training at American Sleep and Breathing Academy. They can help you with sleep disorders. They can. He makes mouthpieces that help you with snoring or sleep disorders, in addition to just regular dental care. If you can think of it and it involves your teeth, North Kansas City Dental would love to work with you. Whether it's crowns, veneers, or if you have TMJ, or you want some really professional, awesome teeth whitening. North Kansas City Dental, nkcdental.com. MyPillow is having a sale site-wide, 50% off on many products all over the website, mypillow.com and mystore.com. Your promo code this holiday season is KKHI. Please use it. I know that you see commercials on TV and elsewhere, and there's different promo codes. No promo code anywhere saves you more money than mine. That was my deal with them. It has to be the maximum promo code for all of our listeners. It is the maximum code available at any given time, KKHI. So if you're shopping this holiday season online and you're looking for slippers or a robe or pajamas or a pillow or something cool to get your spouse or anyone else you know, mypillow.com and mystore.com. When a promo code pops up, click in KKHI and watch how it saves you money. Or call 800-923-9034. That's 923-9034, mypillow.com. Oh, here's another good Christmas idea is Great Life Golf. You know, tell Santa this year that you want to play more golf. Gift cards are available. You can buy rounds of golf at some of the public courses they have around town, or maybe you'd like to sign up and be at one of the membership courses. They're more like gym memberships, really, than country club. These are not stuffy country clubs. All right, I live right next to Falcon Ridge. It's a monthly fee golf course. You pay a monthly fee, you play all you want. You have access to all of it. It's really cool. And if you like to play golf and a lot of golf, you can save a lot of money by signing up at greatlifegolf.com or greatlifekc.com. Either one. Great Life Golf. 58 courses now nationwide, including Hilton Head, Georgia, North Carolina, and Florida, in addition to the wide variety of courses in Kansas City, Wichita, and Lake of the Ozarks. Great Life Golf. Our final, we tie together what we said about the Chiefs and Missouri, that they're not only good, but they're fun to watch. And that's how you get ratings. Missouri was fun to watch against Georgia. That's why it was the number 2 rated game last week in college football. But it's impossible to say these words in the same sentence, like feel sorry and Amazon. You can't really put the two in the same sentence. But Amazon paid all this money for Thursday Night Football. They went out and hired away Al Michaels and paid him ridiculous sums of money. And Kirk Herbstreit, ridiculous sums of money to do half the job he does on ABC with college football. You can tell Herbstreit doesn't really like doing the Amazon games, doesn't like the NFL as much as college football. You can tell all this, but it's too much money to turn down. They've spent all this money, and tonight they get the Bears and the Panthers. The Bears are 2-7. The Panthers are 1-7. We have a combined 3-14. And what is the NFL like for us this weekend? The Chiefs take a bye week. And trust me, the rest of the country will notice. This is the worst slate of NFL games I can ever remember. Granted, the Chiefs aren't playing. That matters. Chiefs won't be able to entertain us this weekend. The game of the week, Nance and Romo, is Chargers-Lions. The best game of the week with the most wins, most combined wins. These teams combined for 11-5 record. These teams combined to be 11-5. So these are winning teams. Is a noon game on Fox on Sunday. This is the best matchup in the NFL this year or this week. How excited are you to watch the 49ers and the Jaguars? Hey, I love football. I'll be watching. This ain't the slate, man. This is not the weekend for record ratings in the NFL, and it starts on Thursday Night Football with the Bears and the Panthers. Have fun with that. Hey, thanks so much for listening to Kevin Keatsman Has Issues.
Thanks for listening to Kevin Keatsman Has Issues, presented by Roberts Robinson Chevrolet GMC. To get exclusive patrons-only podcasts, receive a weekly newsletter, and attend in-person patrons-only parties, visit kkhasissues.com and become a patron today. This has been a production of Crooked Tail Media Incorporated.